Hello viewers, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Grace Peter and I'm glad to have you here. So in today's video, I am going to be sharing with us things you don't tell people part 2. In my previous video, what I discussed, that is the part 1 of it, but today's video is going to be part 2 of things that you don't tell people. But this video is going to be particularly on marriage and courtship. Yeah, so there are some things in marriage or courtship, there are some things you don't tell people because you don't know who is going to be the Judas in your relationship or your marriage. Things you don't tell people, things that is supposed to be kept secret between you and your spouse. Yeah, so the number one thing is don't tell people about your partner's weakness. It is not necessary. Don't tell people about your partner's weakness because definitely there are people, the people that you are telling or the person that you told it about is going to use it against you or against your spouse. So don't tell people about the weakness. Let it be that little secret between you and your husband or between you and your wife. So don't go out to tell people about your partner's weakness. It is not necessary. The highest thing that is going to happen is after you telling them about the weakness, the funny thing is they can't do anything about it even after you've told them. So let it be between you and your spouse. That is point number 1. Point number 2, don't tell people the numbers of time you quarrel with your spouse. let it let your relationship or let your marriage look beautiful and perfect from outside. Then you and your partner should settle issues inside. Don't tell people the numbers of time that you have issues, maybe the time you have quarrel, and maybe any little time, any little issues that you have, you just want to sit out with friends and say, my guy, my wife, this is what she did to me today, or this is what she did that I don't really like, or I had issues with my wife or my husband today. It's not necessary because that friend of yours is not going to help you with that information you are giving him or her. So don't tell people the numbers of time you have issues or you quarrel with your wife. You understand? Let your marriage looks, definitely there is no perfect marriage, but as couples you can work towards making your marriage to be perfect. Yeah, so make your marriage or your relationship perfect. Make it look perfect from outside while you settle your issues inside. That is point number 2. Point number 3 is don't tell even your best friend the pocket allowance you get from your husband. Don't do that. If at all that friend of yours is curious to know about it, just simply tell them that your husband gives you more than enough. Because I don't see any reason why a reasonable person would come and be asking his or her friend how much her husband gives her as pocket allowance. What do you need that information for? It is not necessary. But if that person wants to by all means know about how much you get from your husband as allowance, tell the person that your husband gives you more than enough. That's a very simple response to that question. So that is fourth number 3. The next one is don't men don't tell, not even men, even women, don't tell your friends about how good your partner is on bed. That one is wahala. Don't tell your friends, no matter how close you are with somebody or with your friend or maybe any family member, don't tell anyone about how good your partner is on bed, especially this friends matter. So as a woman now, you going to tell your fellow woman how good your husband is in the other room or on bed, you are directly drawing problems to yourself. Because the moment you're telling that friend of yours, you don't know what is going through her mind. So you always going to tell this person, my husband is good though. Don't do that. Don't do that. Because If you constantly or regularly tell the person about how good your husband is on the bed, that friend of yours would want to have a taste of what you always come to tell him or her. So let it be that little secret between you and your husband. Same thing with men. Don't tell your friends how good your wife is on the bed. Or if it's opposite, like opposite of good on the bed, like opposite, you mean now opposite of good is bad. So even if your spouse is bad on the bed, you don't go tell people, don't tell people, my wife sef, the way she used to do on the bed, I don't really like it. Or my husband, the way he used to do on the bed, I don't like that information. It is not necessary. Don't tell people, because you telling that friend of yours, the person is only going to know about it. He is not going to make it perfect for you. So don't tell people. If your wife or your husband is not good on the bed, then you can, as couples, you will talk out things, try to make it perfect. Do you understand? Try to make it perfect. Don't go and tell people if your husband or your wife is good or not good. Let it be that little secret between the both of you. Because you never can tell. Friends, in fact, some friends are nothing to write home about. At that point that you are telling them, you don't know what is going through. If God will give us the grace to see people's hearts or see what is going through people's mind about you, you will be shocked. So such information or such talks should be kept away from the public. Let it be between you and your partner. So the next point is, even your pastor is not worthy to know about the numbers of time you have issues with your wife. Do you know why? Because some pastors are going to make it a sermon in church. They are going to preach about you coming to tell some, not all, some pastors, you coming to tell some of your pastors about the issues that you're always having with your wife at home or your husband. They are going to make it a topic in a church service. They'll make it a sermon. They will use your maybe the problems you're having in your marriage or whatever to come and preach in the church. They'll make it a sermon, and I'm sure you will not want that. So don't tell, even your pastor is not worthy to know about it, because your pastor definitely is also human like you. So take it to God. If at all you want to speak to somebody or anything, you can see a counselor, a marriage counselor, or take it to God in prayers. So that is another point. The next point is, don't tell your kids that their father or their mother is a bad person. Don't do that. Don't do that. Whatever issues you have with your partner or with your husband or your wife, the both of you should be able to sort out things without involving your kids. As a husband, if you tell your kids that their mother is a bad person, it is going to affect the child or the children psychologically. Same thing applicable with the wives. As a wife, you tell your children or your kids that their father is a bad person. It is not good, it's not healthy for them. Do you know why? Because that thing you have talked about their parent, which is maybe their mother or their father, it will make the kids hate them. It will make the kids to want to hate the father or hate the mother. So don't tell your kids that their father or their mother is bad. No, they don't need it. Try to settle out your issues or your differences as couples without involving your kids. So don't tell your kids that the father or the mother is bad. No, that is not good at all. It is not good. They are innocent. The kids are innocent. So don't involve them in such issues. Yeah, so that is the point. The next point is, don't try to tell your friends to seduce your partner just to know their loyalty to you. As unbelievable as this sounds, most people still do it. Maybe as a husband, you want to test if your wife truly loves you, and you now, maybe you have a sit out with your friend, then you tell your friend, my guy, I want to know if my wife truly loves me. Please, can you do this for me? You now, as the husband, you will now send your friend to go and seduce your wife to know if she truly loves you, to test her loyalty to you. Oh my God, that is way too risky. It is too risky. So don't tell your friend to go and seduce your partner to test their loyalty to you. That is not necessary, because they may end up winning their love. So perhaps as a husband, there are some things that you're supposed to do to your wife or for your wife that you are not doing. And that friend of yours that you have sent to go and seduce your wife may do it better than you as a husband. So such should be kept very far from your marriage. Same thing applicable to women. As a woman or as a wife, don't tell your female friend to go and seduce your. That one is in fact, that one is very bad. Don't tell your female friend to go and seduce your husband to test your loyalty. That is a big no. Don't do that, because it's possible that friend of yours has been eyeing your husband. So it will now seem like you gave that friend of yours the opportunity to do what she has always had in mind to do. So don't tell your friends to seduce your partner, either as a man or either as a husband or as a wife. Don't tell your friends to seduce your partner to test that loyalty, to test their loyalty to your marriage or to you. Don't do that. So the next point is, don't tell people about your partner's past mistake. That also is very risky. Like I have said earlier, you telling people about this little secret that is supposed to be shared between you and your spouse, you telling people about it, they are not going to help you with the issue. They are not going to help you sort it out. Rather, they will know things they are not supposed to know. So don't tell friends or even some family members, don't tell them about your partner's past mistake. Because even if you are in good term with your partner, your wife or your husband, for the fact that you've already told that friend of yours about your partner's past mistake, they are definitely going to judge your partner or your spouse with that mistake that you have already told them about. So it is not necessary. Don't tell them about, let it be that little secret between the both of you. So don't tell people about your partner's past mistakes. Everyone makes mistake. If you tell people about the past mistakes of your partner, presently they are going to use it against your partner and even in the future. So such should be kept away from people. So the next point is, ladies, don't tell your friends about things that moves your husband, because it's possible that your friend is eyeing your husband. Because the world we live in today, most ladies can do anything. They can go extra mile to get or to achieve what they want. So don't tell even your best friend, don't tell your best friend things about your husband, things that moves your husband, because if you do, she would use that thing to get your husband. Like I said earlier, most people can go extra mile to do that, because it's possible she has been eyeing your husband or she has always want your husband. So don't tell your friend things about your husband. Don't do that. Don't tell your friends about things that moves your husband. Don't do that. It is too risky. In fact, the risk is like this. It's very high. Don't tell your friends about things that moves your husband as a wife. It is too risky. Yeah, so I hope this point will help some of us in our marriage. And I pray to God Almighty that if your marriage is going through difficult time, by the grace of God, your marriage is going to be resolved. Your marriage is going to be settled. Is going to be settled. Yeah. So thank you all for watching this video. I hope it is helpful. Yeah. So please, if you haven't subscribed to this channel, please do it to subscribe and hit the like button below. See you in my next one. Bye.